Good evening, Ira Epstein, and yes, I'm back. It is Monday, the 24th of July, 2023, and it's getting on to 7 p.m. Central Time. I'm here with your SPDR ETF stock market wrap-up. Now, let's remember, this is a huge week for the S&P 500 earnings companies. We're going to get like nearly half of the companies reporting this week, so buckle in and see what it does. Mike Wilson has thrown in the towel, the big bear from one of the banks. I won't even mention it, but he was so right a year or two ago and so wrong this year. He threw in the towel. Did he throw it in at the top? It makes you wonder. You never know. We'll see how that all goes. But the simple fact is he's still saying that he thinks he'll come down in the S&P and finish off way from here. He's looking for about I think it was 3,900 in the S&P for this year and about 42 next year. I still think he's too bearish, and we will see what happens. But that's me. So I had the most interesting time. I was in Montana, and there's nobody working. You heard what I'm saying. There's a for hire sign everywhere you look. Even the airport. We had no ice on a return flight because there's not enough people to service the planes and bring these things to it. United Airlines. Flight crew came on, explained we don't have any ice. They explained the situation. The plane had been delayed over 2 hours, but they knew this at the airport. They could do it. Nah, it threw the schedule off and they didn't have enough people. Try to get food somewhere. You're going to be shocked. Everywhere you go, we're hiring signs. So if you think this job market is letting up, no. Now, do I know if people just don't want to work? I don't know that. Do I know if they're not being paid enough? I don't know that either. As usual, you go in the Walmart and they're okay. Some of the restaurants we went to were staffed perfectly. Others, a disaster. One of the best ones that I love, country music at nighttime, great bar, great food. I go to the sign. Saturday night, they have to close. The staff didn't show. This is what you're dealing with, folks. So understand it. I'm sure you're running into it in your own way. You know, living in a big city like Chicago, you don't run into it all the time. But here, too, they're hiring all over the place. You do see that. All right. So we have a lot going on. Besides the earnings, you have the Federal Reserve on Wednesday, European Central Bank on Thursday, Bank of Japan on Friday, all central bank meetings setting monetary policy. And I think next week we might get the Bank of England. Expect that the European Central Bank and us, the U.S., we go 25 basis point hikes. Don't think that we'll get anything out of Japan. They haven't done anything yet, so why now? And for England, when they come around, maybe 25 to 50 basis points to fight their inflation story. Nobody's mentioning it at all. They're so wrong. Are you watching energy prices? They're taking off again. It's a number of things. There's fear that this Ukraine war is spreading. If you look at the futures, you're looking at grain prices soar. The ports along the Danube are now getting bombed by Russia. Russia is systematically wiping out the export facilities that can come out of Ukraine, one of the major corn and wheat producing nations of the world. They got hit today. Apparently a couple of drones went and hit in Moscow or right around that area near the defense ministry, and Russia's calling it an act of terrorism. I don't mind saying it. The terrorists are calling the kettle, the pot. The pot's calling the kettle black. This is craziness, all right? And it's affecting everything. How many billions are we spending? I mentioned the U.S. because we are the biggest spender at NATO, right? So it's ours. We're the largest economy. We're the biggest spender. But it's affecting all our member countries as well. The battle's going to happen again as countries, there's 5 nations in the European Union that don't want to see Ukraine grain dumped on their market. I don't blame them. Find a way to transport it. These aren't bad countries. Don't destroy their home market. We have our own problem. Monies that we could be spending to help immigrants, other things, we're spending it on the war. Like it or not, we're at war. It's on our side a financial war, ammunition, munitions. We are at war. And the quicker you realize what we're at, that's it. You can't get out of it, because if you let Russia win, it just keeps getting worse. And then for the next crazy country that does it, it gets worse and worse. You have to win this war. There is no getting out of it. Just accept that you're part of it. I'm going to stay with Microsoft only because I didn't do the weekly chart, so I'd like to finish it up, and then I'm back on schedule. I don't have another trip planned that I know of ahead of me. So I can see the correction is set in. You know, we had the big AI thing. Everybody bought everything in sight, and they fell apart. Okay, they didn't get bearish. That's not what I'm saying. But you're no longer sitting here at 362s. You're sitting here now just coming off 340 for all purposes. You're back to the 18-day average of closes. You're neutral. You have a pattern of a higher high, lower low. You have a market that stopped at the Bollinger Bands. I keep telling you this. Look in the mirror and say, why don't you want to learn? If you learn how to work with these, you're not getting caught on these as they're going up there. You got to learn how to work with Bollinger Bands. Do you come out against them? Do you look at the sideways pattern? If it's an upward pattern, which way do you go with them? And momentum is now correcting. Got that? It's no longer overbought. So where will the market find the next trend? Probably from here this week. That's my guess. I'm waiting to see it develop. In Rivian, if you lose the red line closing under 79, it's right now sitting at 82.90, I think a correction back to the 18-day average will happen. If the market wants to prove itself, it's got to take out the highs of Friday. Take that out, start your run to wherever the upper Bollinger Band is. Otherwise, I think you could come down a bit. I'm not bearish. I want to make that clear. A correction. You're still fully embedded in gasoline. If you've watched my futures video, I told you that my opinion is we're already into the Labor Day market. The market is building in price for the Labor Day market. That's what I think is going on. And it's building in price with the understanding that you've got the 1 million barrel cut continuing on in Saudi Arabia through August. You've got Russia probably now in compliance at 500,000 barrels off the market. You can't count on Libyan oil. And you have world economies that are in pretty darn good shape. This recession worldwide that was supposed to slaughter everybody's economies isn't occurring. Slowdown, yes. Recession, no. And so far, that seems to be how it's playing out so far. In XLI, the industrial sector, before I left, I said, you know, they keep saying industry's no good, but take a look. You're embedded. That's bullish. Well, it didn't go very far while I was gone, but it's certainly up. And until the red line's under 79, I would be telling clients, buy the breaks, looking for the upper Bollinger Band. NVIDIA never did embed. Got up to the Bollinger Band, and I know what I was telling my clients because I had them on weekly charts off of another number and had them taking profits against the number. I got lucky. Sometimes I do get a winner. The word is profits. I can prove I said it. I have all the videos to do it and as to how we were coming out. So for those of you, occasionally I get right. But now this is the zone I'm looking for the market to find the support for new purchases. Let's see what happens. Is it in a buy mode? It is not. You have lower highs, lower lows into the support of the 18-day average. This is the correction mode. Now let's see what it sets up. Stocks. If NVIDIA is not good, how good can stocks be? Right? You got to think about it. That's the leader of the chip makers. Home builders. Okay, you lost the embedded reading, so step with me over here. Here we go. This is the close of business right here on Thursday. On Friday, you get a reading of what? What is that number? 78.72. Again, any reading under 79, I want out. That's what I teach in my course. Will your numbers look like that? They will not. I modify the slow stochastic. If you use TradingView, you can go out in TradingView, and we have a suite for you where all this is in there, the swing lines, everything. Go to our website at iraepstein.com. Go to Client Resources. Look under charting. You'll see it. You sign up there. We'll then turn it on. From our site, we turn it into the trading view. It's instant. You log out, back in. You'll get a letter from us. It's turned on. You're like that. All right. My own clients, if they use my charting software, it's all here. If you're a paid subscriber to my research and you ask me the formula, I will give you the formula. So I'm fair with it, okay? XLE, higher lows, higher highs, but over the upper Bollinger Band. Would I ever tell anybody to buy over a Bollinger Band? The answer is no. Why? Because the algorithm, which is what a Bollinger Band is, says that 95% of the time the market will trade within the band. I don't want to be the guy betting on the 5% out, because that's the guy sitting at the slot machine in Vegas pulling it all day. He's going to win the $50 million or whatever it is. You know how that story goes. Gold. Lower highs, lower lows. Correction time, lost embedded time, probably going to make a run at the 18-day average, the red line, right in front of all the Fed, Bank of England, European Central Bank, and Bank of Japan making monetary decisions. Makes sense. The money was made. This was an uptrend. Market culminated at the upper Bollinger Band between here, fell back to test the 100-day average, went here, and failed again. Okay, so now, if this becomes a resistance point, the 100, then the 18 becomes theoretically the first support point. If it gives all in, then you're talking back at 175. I have doubts about that. In the silver, you lost the embedded reading. Same thing. I think you'll come back down into this zone and look for the support there. I'm not saying buy or sell. I'm telling you where I think the momentum is going to go. In the copper market, you have to be vastly disappointed in China. What is with this country that they can't get it together? Their property market, their big companies are crashing worldwide. People don't want their debt. They can't pay the debt. The bank's got to extend it out a year at a time. And they're sitting there and they're not doing anything to get that market going. You can't tell me cutting 10 basis points. 10 basis points is going to do it. You can't tell me that in tier 1 cities, we're going to allow, if you were a previous homeowner, you can buy again. So the Politburo, which is meeting right now, this is when the 21 members meet and they set policy, if you will, for everything. Well, they've taken out the idea that a home is to live in. In other words, go out and speculate. Well, how if you don't give them a way to do it? Give them a way to do it, these people will speculate, but you've got to make the property cheap enough, and people have to be able to get mortgages at a rate that they can do, and the flippers will come back. You can count on it. It happens in America. It's going to happen there. BND, correction time, lower highs, lower lows, but all I'm looking for is the 18-day average. Anything beyond that, let me first see what the central banks do to know what I'm dealing with. Dollar index, what do you do the first time after you lose an embedded reading? I'm looking only for these averages, the closest average. The 100 and the 18 are together, the green and the red. And the flip-flops here, I'm looking for the FXC tomorrow to hit the 18-day average, and boom, game gone. And I teach all this to you every morning, and I reinforce it every single morning. That is Monday through Friday when I'm not on vacation. I've taken 2 days. By the way, my paid subscribers, while I was gone from you all week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, they had their videos. I did them when I was in Montana. And I said, hey, folks, let me go wash my brain where I'm not looking at everything and come back fresh for the ECB and this big week of earnings. And here I am. I've already done earnings report for Bloomberg today. I'll be on TV in Melbourne, Australia, Wednesday, probably in Canadian. I mean, it's all happening now. So I'm back to do everything that I was. Go to our website, iraepstein.com, under the word research. This is all there. I start you off first with the futures, 5:15 in the morning, I'm recording. By 9, I'm recording 9. I wait for the first half hour of the stock market to open. And then, the time difference, it's 9 for me. and I'm doing the ETFs and everything, and I'm showing you the weekly, the daily. Here's what I'm seeing. Here's why I'm seeing it. I'll rotate. All my subscribers are invited to write me, by the way. They do questions. I answer them. I take a certain amount of time out each day, and sometimes instead of writing you back, guy says, well, I need some help with this. I'll do a 30-second video of the chart, show you what I'm seeing, explain why. It's so much easier for me to do that than to sit and write a 5-minute answer. And boom, you have no idea how many people like that. I mean, you're really getting the response. So, IraEpstein.com, under the word research. Can I make it easier? You can always call my staff, and you can move your cursor at any point up to the top here. You'll be taken right to those areas. I'm Ira. You have a great day.